everybody, welcome back to RC with Adam, and today I just want to do a simple little side-by-side comparison between the Eachine Goggles 2 FPV goggles and the Fat Shark Scout FPV goggles that I recently acquired like a few months back, and I've been flying with these. And and the reason why I'm doing this is because this is the very first pair of goggles that I got. And then I finally upgraded to the Fat Shark Scout goggles, and it took me a while to really find a pair that I wanted to upgrade to. So one of the big factors was actually size. That was like the main reason why I wanted to upgrade, because these things are pretty dang huge. In case there's anybody else flying with box goggles, with this type of box goggle or something like this, I thought this might be helpful for you so you can actually see the size comparison. Because these, let's talk about these for just a second. These Fat Shark Scout goggles, they are a box type goggle. So like it has, you know, it doesn't have like an individual lens in there, although the lenses are kind of separated, which was a little weird at first. But it's mainly like a, you know, it does have kind of a box-like shape. But the size of this is just so small. So I'm just going to kind of put these side by side in different ways to show you how much smaller the Fat Sharks are. I'm going to take these antennas off so then we can kind of move them around a little bit more. And that's one of the differences. I'll talk a little bit about the differences between these two. Not really a review, but, you know, as far as how they compare to each other. I had these two antennas on the Eachine goggles, and this is a patch antenna for longer range, and then this is a omnidirectional antenna for, you know, kind of a better coverage close in. And with the Fat Shark, you just have the omni sticking out, and then they actually built in the patch antenna into the front of this, which I think is pretty cool. So you can't swap out the patch antenna, at least not, you know, not easily. But you also don't really have to think about it. So, I mean, as far as, you know, having to plug it in or anything like that. Let's continue. So we've got these right here. Take a look at them like that. Just a huge difference. I mean, it's like so much smaller. It is incredible, the difference here. And I'm just talking about the size. I'm not even talking about like the features and stuff. So I will say, looking at them from this view, the Eachine goggles definitely have a wider field of view. I mean, it's gigantic. You can't really see much in there, but it is huge. Like it takes up like your whole field of view pretty much. And some people really hate that. And I kind of like that though, because I feel like it's really immersive. Maybe that's just because I got used to these goggles, because that's what I started with. Fat Sharks are much smaller. The whole you know, field of view, the eye box is much smaller. So you really do kind of have to line it up on your face and get it just right, and that's why I made these foam modifications and stuff. And I do have a video about that, about adding this foam and changing the foam padding here so it fit my face better. If you're interested in doing that, I'll put a link right there or something. But it's still quite large. Like, a lot of people think it's too large if they're used to flying with the individual lens type Fat Shark goggles. But for me, I really like it. To me, I'm giving up a little bit of field of view, but for what I'm gaining in the size, just like having to pack these things around and wear them on my head, it's pretty fantastic. You can see they're way shorter, like in terms of length, how far it's sticking out on your head. And then the width is, well, it's fairly similar at the face, you know, because it has to kind of fit your face, but it does narrow down quite a bit there. And then, so like on top of all of that, let's actually weigh these. This is going to be in grams. So we've got this battery in here too, and that's another thing. I bought this battery separate. This is a 2800 milliamp hour 2-cell, 442 grams right there. Let's see, with the Fat Sharks, well, not counting the antennas, let's say, we have 348, about 100 grams lighter, which is quite a bit when it's hanging off of your face. That's another thing I like about this one, the battery. It's really cool actually, because well, it comes with a battery. For some reason I thought that it wouldn't come with a battery, but it did. I was very pleased about that. It's a little tricky. You have to pop both of these little things at once. And then you just have this lithium ion battery, and this one is a 2600 milliamp hour battery. And the coolest part about it though is that you don't even have to take this out. It just charges through this USB-C port right here, this USB-C. And of course it has a bunch of other features as well. you know, like built-in DVR and that sort of thing, that the Eachine goggles do not have. I had to add this little DVR port right here, but there's not really there's not like an easy charging option for this. You just have to charge this lithium polymer battery, you know, just like you charge a normal lithium polymer. Now, talking just a moment about the fit, I will say the fit on this, it just feels really good. It just surrounds my face. It's like I'm just sticking my face in a pillow. It's so nice, and it really is pretty comfortable. So like as far as like a viewing experience, like an immersive experience, I actually like this more, even though the screen is not quite as nice, not as sharp or whatever. But it is pretty nice, and it totally seals out all of the light. This one, the screen is a little bit smaller. You don't have as much depth in the eye box, which is good for most things. But I had, like I said, I had to change the foam around, and there's still a little bit of light leakage. So it's not like the most comfortable experience. But again, the trade-off is that you don't have, the bulk of this one. Hey, one last thing I want to show you. This is the Fat Shark carrying case that the goggles come in, which is pretty nice. They don't come with a spare battery. I bought this one. But you stick these in the case, right? Okay, you put your antennas in there, whatever. Spare batteries. Okay, zip it all up. It's all nice and protected, right? The case is smaller than my old goggles. So that kind of tells you something. Right there, like, wow. So really, it's so great because the Scout goggles, I want to say they're around like 200. I'm not sure what they are right now. I'll probably put a link in the description if you're interested in getting the Scout goggles. But I'm so glad that I upgraded because I didn't have to pay like the price of really nice individual lens Fat Shark style goggles, but I got a much smaller package with a lot of features that the other goggles didn't have. Actually, what's funny is I was flying around the Budget Basher, this quadcopter right here that I made myself, and some other ones, and in the DVR, like I could actually hear the motors and everything as I'm flying around. I couldn't hear it because I didn't have an earbud in my ear, but later when I watched the DVR, I could hear the motors. The VTX thing has a microphone in here, and I didn't realize that like even worked because when I installed the DVR on the Eachine goggles, I just didn't bother to hook up the microphone because I just thought like, well, that doesn't really, I don't really care about that. But so anyway, that's kind of funny. It's just kind of an example of a feature that I was missing from this one, and I didn't even realize that it was kind of an option. And it is pretty nice actually having the microphone on there. Kind of nice for syncing things up and just kind of getting hearing what the motors are doing and all that kind of stuff. Hey, I hope this was helpful for you. Just getting a side-by-side comparison of the Fat Shark Scout goggles. If it was, would you hit that like button for me and let other people know that this was helpful to you? And hey, if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so because I make videos like these all the time. So if you're into drones and FPV stuff, hit that subscribe button so that way you can stay up on what I'm doing and we can hang out together like every day because we're buddies. And hey, leave me a comment about what your goggle setup is. I'm curious, are you still rocking the old box goggle or have you upgraded yet? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.